Yes, my dear students of 10th standard, I welcome you all in the name of Almighty Father to listen and understand the new lesson, Unit 10, Types of Chemical Reactions. Unit 10, Types of Chemical Reactions. Already we have discussed about atomic structure, periodic classification, solution, and now the new lesson, types of chemical reaction. Whatever so far learned, that should be written in your classwork and you have to revise, and tomorrow you will have an objective test on atomic structure. 25 questions will be given. You have to choose the correct answer and post the answer to the same address. So you have to prepare well and write objective test tomorrow on atomic structure. Now we are going to learn about types of chemical reactions. So my dear students, we have already learned about physical and chemical changes of matter in our previous classes. Whenever a chemical change occurs, we can say that a chemical reaction has taken place. Whenever a chemical change occurs, we can say that a chemical reaction has taken place. For example, so many reactions are taking place in and around us. Dilution of glucose, burning of fuel, conversion of milk into curd, whitewashing, digestion of food, that is respiration. All these are examples for chemical reactions. And in this lesson, so we are going to study about some different types of chemical reactions. So it is given in the introductory part. So listen carefully. As you know from your earlier studies, a chemical reaction involves breaking of old chemical bonds and formation of new chemical bonds. So this is how to understand. A chemical reaction means what? The old bonds are going to be break and the new bonds are formed to give a new product. The reactants combine to form a new product. Because of that reason only, the old bonds between the reactants are going to break and new products are formed with the formation of new chemical bond. This change may happen spontaneously or it may be facilitated by external forces of energy. So chemical reactions are taking place spontaneously. Some reactions are, for example, see the rusting of iron. When an iron piece is on the ground, automatically it's going to absorb moisture and going to get contact with oxygen, carbon dioxide, and the process of rusting are spontaneously taking place. And but all the reactions are not taking place spontaneously. Many reactions we are going to apply some facilitated conditions, some forces, increasing the temperature, changing the pressure, and in presence of oxygen or in the absence of oxygen, reactions are taking place. So you have to understand, chemistry means chemical reactions. Chemistry is all about chemical reaction. So without chemical reaction, there is no chemistry. So in your day-to-day life, you would observe many chemical reactions. So whitewashing, simply you would have seen whitewashing. The painter going to whitewash the wall. But actually whether the painters know the reactions or not, but There a chemical reaction take place, that the calcium oxide when dissolved in water it going to liberate heat energy. This is a type of exothermic reaction. Calcium hydroxide is formed. Then that calcium hydroxide is going to be pasted on the wall, and after few days that calcium hydroxide pasted on the wall absorb the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and it will give a bright whiteness to the wall. So the chemical reactions are involving in this process. And also see, a clear understanding of these reactions is essential in order to manipulate them for the sake of human life and environment. So we have to understand the reactions, how these reactions are taking place, what are the uses of these reactions, what are the reactant, what are the product. All this we have to understand. So chemistry mainly focuses on chemical reactions. So this point you have to note down. Chemistry means chemical reaction. And in chemical reaction, what take place? Breaking of old chemical bond and formation of new chemical bond. And one more thing, reactions are taking place spontaneously or some facilitated external force of energy. Now, let us try to find answer for this. Some questions. Some questions are given. See, you need energy to play, walk, run, or to perform various physical activities. Where do you get the energy from? This already we know. Uh, for all our body functions, for all our activities, we need energy. How this energy is obtained? This energy is obtained from the food what we eat. That is the energy from the digestion of food what we eat. That food what we eat going to be oxidized in presence of oxygen, and energy is produced. That energy is used for the functions of our body parts and working of our body parts, and for all our activities are done using the energy which we obtain from the digestion of food. Then next question, how do plants grow and get their food? See, plants are growing by absorbing the water and nutrients from the earth using the process of osmosis, and also and they prepare food by photosynthesis, by synthesizing carbon dioxide, water, synthesizing carbon dioxide, water, and presence of sunlight. This reaction take place in chlorophyll. This reaction take place in chlorophyll, and this is called photosynthesis. Already you have learned in the previous section, previous classes. Photosynthesis is nothing but this is the preparation of plant food by synthesizing carbon dioxide, water in presence of sunlight. Then, how does a car move using a fuel? Fuel means what? The fuel which is going to burn. The fuel burn and give energy. So, because of this burning process, that is called combustion. The combustion of fuel makes the car to move. Why does the iron rust on its exposure to water or air? So what is take place when an iron piece is exposed to water or air? The oxidation takes place. The oxidation is going to form the previous uh, class, that is in the periodic classification of element, that we have learned what is rust, how rust is formed. What is rust? That is a hydrated ferric oxide. Hydrated ferric oxide is rust. The process of forming rust, that is called rusting. So in presence of oxygen, in presence of water and carbon dioxide, that iron turned to hydrated ferric oxide, that is called rusting. So all these are chemical reactions. All these are chemical reactions. So all these processes are chemical changes. There's the materials which undergo changes are converted into some other new material. So the material which turned to a new material which is converted into a new substance. So for example, see, by burning petrol. When the petrol is burned, what takes place? See, the petrol contains that hydrocarbon. The hydrocarbon burn in presence of oxygen and liberate carbon dioxide, water. Also, energy is obtained from this burning process. Energy is obtained. That energy is used for the function of vehicles. The energy is used for the moving of a car or any type of vehicle. Then, so in this chapter, we are going to discuss about the nature and types of chemical reaction. So, my dear students, you have to understand. So, chemistry means chemical reaction. Chemistry means chemical reactions. So, what is taking place in the chemical reaction? Old bonds are break, new bonds are formed. Reactions taking place spontaneously or in presence of some external force. And some examples are given. And also during the chemical reaction, what take place? See that reactants combine to form new substance. The new substances are called product. Now, next to see what happens during a chemical reaction. So, what are the things are taking place during the chemical reaction? See, in a chemical reaction, the atoms of the reacting molecules or elements are rearranged to form a new molecule. That's why in the initial introduction also given that involves the chemical reaction involve breaking of old chemical bonds and formation of new chemical bond. The same thing is given here. That is, atoms of the reacting molecules or elements rearranged. That means breaking to form a new molecule, to form a new chemical bond. So, the reactants atoms are rearranged to form a new product, to form a new molecule. Then, old chemical bonds are broken, new chemical bonds are formed. So, more or less both are similar to one another. In the first case, atoms are rearranged to form a new molecule. How these atoms are rearranged? Because of the breaking of old bond, forming a new chemical bond. Then, in this process of bond breaking going to need energy. That is going to absorb energy. That's why we have to supply some external force, some external energy, heat or pressure or supplying catalyst. These are some external forces, energy applied for the breaking of old bond to give a new bond. So during the process of bond breaking, the energy is absorbed, and to form a new bond, what takes place? The energy is released. So bond breaking absorb energy and bond formation releases energy. So there are three things take place during the chemical reaction. First one, the reactants atoms are rearranged to form a new molecule. Old chemical bonds are broken, new chemical bonds are formed. Bond breaking absorb energy, bond formation releases energy. These are the things taking place normally in a chemical reaction. Then, how are chemical reaction represented? So when methane reacts with the oxygen, it forms carbon dioxide and water. How can you represent this reaction? It can be written as a word equation as shown below. So normally we use this type of word equation, simply writing the name of the reactants and using the arrow mark writing the products. So these reactants are going to be written in the form of using their words name, methane, using the alphabet we are writing methane, plus the reactants are going to be written using the plus sign. Similarly, the products are going to be written using the plus sign to differentiate the different reactant and different products. And this arrow mark indicate That is the direction of a reaction. Then see, methane plus oxygen. Methane burn in presence of oxygen and give carbon dioxide and water. So methane and oxygen are the reactants in this reaction. Because methane and oxygen are taking part in the reaction, so the substances are involving, the substances which are taking part in the reactions are called reactants. So what are the substances taking part? Methane and oxygen. So these are the reactants. And what are the products formed? Carbon dioxide and water. Carbon dioxide and water. So the left hand side elements or substances, the left hand side to the arrow mark, methane and oxygen are reactant. Right hand side to the arrow mark are products. So, but this equation does not give the chemical composition of the reactant and product, because this is a word equation. So, to learn the characteristics of a chemical reaction, it is represented by a chemical equation. So, to write a chemical equation, what we have to write these elements or compounds in the name of using the chemical formula. Already you have learned in 8th standard how to write chemical reaction. So 9th standard how to balance the chemical uh, equation. So to write a chemical equation, the chemical reactions are represented by their chemical formula. So what is the formula of methane? Methane formula CH4, carbon 4 hydrogen. Oxygen formula O2 gives, what is the formula of carbon dioxide? CO2. What is the formula of water? H2O. So using this formula we have to write the chemical equation. So the compounds or elements which undergo reactions are reactants. So methane and oxygen are undergo reactions, so they are called reactants. And carbon dioxide and water are the new substances formed, so they are called products. So the substances in the left hand side of the equations are reactant. Methane and oxygen are reactant. The substances which are on the right hand side of the arrow mark are product, carbon dioxide and water. So this arrow mark indicate the direction of the chemical reaction. So that for say reaction can be written as follows: CH4 methane plus oxygen gives carbon dioxide and water. So you should know the formula of these reactants and product. Then only you can write the equation. So to write a chemical equation, we should know the names of the reactant and product. Actually, first you have to write word equation, then you have to convert into chemical using the symbolic representation, using the formula. So you should know the formula of methane, formula of oxygen, formula of carbon dioxide, water. You should know. Then only you can write the chemical reaction. The next step, what we have to do, we have to check whether the equation is, the reaction is balanced or not. Then only it is going to be a balanced chemical equation. Otherwise, it is going to be a skeletal equation. See, but this is also an incomplete chemical equation, because the law of conservation of matter state. What is the law of conservation of matter? That is, the matter cannot be created or destroyed. Matter cannot be created or destroyed. That is the law of conservation of matter. Law of conservation of matter. So that is nothing but already how long in 9th standard. Mass can neither be created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. Mass can neither be created nor destroyed in a chemical reaction. That you have learned in the 9th standard. Then, so you cannot create a new atoms in a chemical reaction. Simply a rearrangement of atoms of the reactant to form a new compound take place. Rearrangement of atoms in the reactants to give a new compound. So in a chemical reaction, the number of atoms of the reactants and that of the product must be equal. So it is very very important when you are going to balance the chemical equation, the number of atoms on the either side of the arrow mark, that means the reactant side number of atom should be equal to the product side number of atom. Then only the equation is going to be balanced. Without changing the chemical formula, without altering the chemical formula, we have to check what are the different atoms of the element in the reactant side. The same are going to be in the product side, but it's going to be in different form. The numbers are going to be same. What are the number of atoms in the reactant side? The same number of atoms should be in the product side without altering the chemical formula. Then only the reaction is going to be a balanced one. So the number of hydrogen and oxygen atoms in the reactant and the products are not same, are not equal in the given equation. So on balancing the number of atoms, the following equation is obtained. You can see that here, see, CH4 and oxygen, these are the reactant. So CH4, one carbon atom, four hydrogen atoms are there, and oxygen, two oxygen atoms. These are the atoms in the reactant side, one carbon, four hydrogen, two oxygen. We have to check what are in the product side. One carbon in the same number. Hydrogen, reactant side 4, but in the product side only 2. H2, H2, 2 hydrogen. And oxygen 2 in the reactant side, but product side C, in the CO2 2 oxygen is there. The water molecule 1 oxygen, so 2 plus 1, 3 oxygens are there. 3 oxygen. So some changes in the number of hydrogen and oxygen. Only carbon atoms only same. Carbon atoms only same. So we have to multiply the water molecule. Only we have to multiply by taking the suitable coefficient without changing the molecular formula. So we need 4 hydrogen atom in the product side also. So we have to multiply the H2O by 2. 2H2O, 2H2O. Then only we can get a 4 hydrogen atom. Then to get oxygen, oxygen 4, again we go to reactant side, multiply the oxygen O2 by 2. Then only it is going to be a balanced equation. See, it is going to say CH4 plus 2 oxygen, carbon dioxide plus 2 water molecule. So we are multiplying the oxygen and water molecule in suitable coefficient to get the correct number of atoms, equal number of atoms on either side of the equation. It is called a balancing chemical equation. So what is called balanced chemical equation? It is a simplified representation of a chemical reaction which describes the chemical composition, physical state of the reactant and the products and the reaction condition. So yeah, balanced chemical equation always going to give this information, that is the number of atoms and the composition, the physical state of the reactant, that CH4G, that means gas, oxygen, but also gas, with the physical state of the reactant and product, and also condition, whether it need energy to be supplied or pressure to be applied or any catalyst to be introduced. All these conditions also going to be learned from the equation. Carbon dioxide also gas, water, it is also in the form of vapor. Then see, more to know, the phases or the physical state of the substances in the chemical reactions are denoted in short form within a bracket as a subscript of the formula of the respective substances. For example, when solid potassium react with the liquid water, it produces hydrogen gas and potassium hydroxide solution. All these informations of the reaction is given in a chemical equation. So using the subscript, their physical states are going to be represented. Solid potassium S will be given, liquid L will be given, then hydrogen gas G, solution aqueous solution AQ. These things are given. See, potassium, this is a solid substance, water liquid, and potassium hydroxide is formed. That potassium dissolved in water, it is aqueous solution in water. Then hydrogen gas. So these phases or physical states are represented using this subscript of the formula, that is S for solid, L for liquid, G for gas, AQ for aqueous solution in water solution. Then see, next we are going to study about types of chemical reaction. So classification based on the nature of rearrangement of atom. So far you studied about a chemical reaction and how it can be described as a chemical equation. A large number of chemical reactions are taking place around us every day. Are they taking place in a similar way? No. So all the reactions are not taking place in the same manner, because some reactions require extra energy. So no, each reaction involves different kinds of atoms, and hence the way react also differ. Thus, based on the manner by which the atoms of the reactants are rearranged, chemical reactions are classified. So depends upon the rearrangement of the atoms, different products are formed. Based on that, we are classifying the types of reaction. First type, combination reaction. Combination means combining with one another. So here this is a simple type of reaction, the first type of reaction. You see, a combination reaction is a reaction in which two or more reactants combine to form a compound. So only one product is formed by the combination of two or more reactants. So simply you can understand, two reactants combine to form a product. Two reactants. What are reactants? Reactants are nothing but the substances taking part in the chemical reaction. The substances taking part, the elements or compounds taking part in the reactions are reactant. Products are the new substances formed during chemical reaction. So what is combination? Two or more reactants combine to form a product. Two or more reactants combine to form a compound. That is called combination. This is otherwise also called synthesis reaction or composition reaction. For example, simple representation is given. When a reactant A combine with B, it forms AB. So two reactants, A is one reactant, B is another reactant. These two reactants combine to form only one product, AB. Simply these two going to combine with one another. That's why it is called a combination reaction. So AB react, combine to give the product AB. Then example, this is A plus B gives AB is that is symbolic representation. It's not actually a reaction, that's for our understanding. So actual reaction is given. See, hydrogen gas combined with the chlorine to form hydrogen chloride. Hydrogen H2, formula I got right, H2, chlorine Cl2. These two are in the form of gas, that's why G is given. So two gaseous elements of hydrogen and chlorine combine to give that meaning of arrow mark is gives hydrogen chloride, HCl. So two hydrogen, two chlorine. So the product also going to give two hydrogen chloride. So depending on the chemical nature of the reactant, there are three classes of combinations. So combinations are going to be given in three different types. First one, see, element plus element gives compound. Element two elements combine to give a compound. So in this type of combination reaction, two elements react with one another to give a product compound. So this reaction may take place between metal and non-metal or between two non-metals. For example, see now that is when solid sulfur react with oxygen, it produces sulfur dioxide. Here both the reactants are non-metal. Sulfur is non-metal, oxygen also non-metal, and the product sulfur dioxide also non-metal. See, solid sulfur, S. S is the formula of sulfur, and that subscript S denote that is a solid substance. O2, that is formula of oxygen. G, gaseous state, gives these two solid and gas combine to give sulfur dioxide, which is in the form of gas. Then this equation is automatically spontaneously balanced. One sulfur, two oxygen. Some reactions are automatically going to be balanced itself. Then second example, sodium, which is a silvery white metal, combined with the chlorine, which is a pale yellow gas. The sodium is a metal and chlorine is a gas, and these two combine to give an edible compound of sodium chloride. What is the edible compound? Sodium chloride is used as common salt in our kitchen. We are using sodium chloride to give taste to our food, for the preservation of food, for the preparation of pickles. So sodium chloride is a edible compound. It is common salt. Here one of the reactant is metal. Sodium is metal, the other one is non-metal. So one metal react with a non-metal to give a product of sodium chloride. Sodium, that is solid substance, chlorine, which is a gas, going to give sodium chloride. Sodium chloride. Then, so we have to check ourselves by writing chemical reaction, balanced chemical reaction using metal, sodium, potassium, cesium, calcium, magnesium, and with the non-metal fluorine, bromine, iodine. See, sodium chloride, sodium fluoride, potassium chloride, potassium bromide, cesium chloride, calcium bromide, magnesium chloride, magnesium bromide. So more or less all these metals are going to combine to give a new salt. A type of simple salt will be, metallic salt will be formed. Then another type of combination reaction, compound plus element give compound. So in this case, a compound react with the element to form a new compound. So compound means nothing but it is going to be a heteroatomic molecule. More than one kind of atom going to combine to form a molecule. It is called a compound. So PCl3, phosphorus, P means phosphorus, Cl, chlorine, 3 chlorine. So phosphorus trichloride combined with the chlorine molecule to give phosphorus pentachloride. See, all these reactants and products are gases. Phosphorus trichloride is a liquid here, as phosphorus trichloride is a liquid and the chlorine is a gas, and the product is going to be a solid substance. So phosphorus trichloride is going to be a liquid, chlorine is gas, and phosphorus pentachloride is solid substance. So compound react with element to give you a compound. Then another type of reaction, compound plus compound gives compound. So two compounds are acting as a reactant, silicon dioxide and calcium oxide. So silicon dioxide, which is a solid one, calcium oxide is also solid, the product also solid, calcium silicate. So silicon dioxide combined with the calcium oxide and to give calcium silicate. So this type of reactions, combination reactions are going to be exothermic, because during this reaction heat energy is liberated to the surrounding. So a chemical reaction which involves the evolution of heat energy is called a exothermic reaction, because they involve the formation of new bond which releases huge amount of energy in the formation of heat. So during the formation of a new compound, huge amount of heat energy is released to the surrounding, evolution of heat. So these type of reactions are exothermic reaction. So the next one, see decomposition, that we are going to see in the next class. So my dear students, what we have learned here, see the types of chemical reaction, that is based on the rearrangement of atom, because all the reactions are not taking place in the same manner. Not the same elements are going to combine, different elements are combining in different conditions, so different products are formed. So based on this rearrangement of reactants, we are classifying the types of reaction. First one, see combination. This is a simple type of reaction. Combination means two or more reactant combined to form one product, or simply you have to understand two reactant combined to form one product, also called synthesis reaction or composition reaction. That is simply A plus B gives AB. A is one reactant, B is one reactant. These two simply combine to give a product. Then combination reactions are going to be three class. First one, see element compound. Two elements, two simple elements. For example, see metal non-metal combined to give you a product. Here see one example we are taking, that is non-metal of sulfur with the non-metal of oxygen to give sulfur dioxide is also non-metal. So non-metals combine to form a sulfur dioxide, that is a gaseous product. This is the type of reaction, element and compound. Sulfur is element, oxygen is element, sulfur dioxide is a compound. Next type of reaction, see compound element gives compound. So phosphorus trichloride, liquid phosphorus trichloride is a compound, and the chlorine is an element. These two combine to give a new product, phosphorus pentachloride, that is a compound. This is second type of reaction. And third type, compound gives product of compound. Silicon dioxide is a compound, calcium oxide is also compound. These two react to give calcium silicate, a new compound, that is a product. So three types of combination reaction. Element gives compound, compound element gives compound, compound plus compound gives compound. So you have to write these equations. These are simple equations, and you should know the formula of these reactants and product. For example, silicon dioxide, SiO2. You should know SiO2 means silicon dioxide. You have to write in practice. Calcium oxide, CaO, calcium silicate, CaSiO3, phosphorus trichloride, PCl3, chlorine, Cl2, PCl5, phosphorus pentachlorine. These are all the simple elements, simple compounds. So you have to practice. Only by practice you can attain you can learn the symbols, formula of these reactants product, because without knowing the molecular formula of the reactant product, we cannot write chemical reaction. So how will you going to learn? By practice, by regular practice, without wasting the time. Practice yourself. Take your rough notebook, write and practice this reaction, and learn. And without seeing the book, without seeing the notes, you have to write and practice the elements and compound. Then only it will come. Only by practice you can attain. So my dear students, next class we will see about the next type of reaction, decomposition reaction. So till that you prepare well. Don't waste the time. You have enough time. At home you are very free. At any time you can sit and prepare. You have enough time there. So don't waste the time. Don't roam anywhere out of the house, and write classwork for the previous three unit. You have to write classwork. It will be checked, and tomorrow you will have test on atomic structure. So learn all the objectives that is in the evaluation exercise also, and inside also question will be asked. 25 question will be given. You have to give correct answer and post the answer to me, and you are going to be evaluated whether you are in the process of learning, whether you are continuously learning or not. That is going to be checked only by assessing your test mark. So prepare well, write test well. Wish you all the best. God bless you.